Top Democratic and Republican leaders are honing in on their respective parties' strengths and weaknesses as the 2022 midterm approaches. The Republican Glenn Youngkin, his win in Virginia's gubernatorial election, it set the stage for how each party will consider strategizing for their campaign efforts looking ahead to 2022. And Democrat Governor Phil Murphy's narrow victory in New Jersey, it's sparking party leaders to pinpoint talking points that will really hit home with voters there. Joining us right now, Julia Manchester from The Hill. Julia, you covered the Virginia race very closely over the past couple of months. How can each party use what happened there as an example of what worked and what doesn't work, what they need to stay away from in order to connect with voters?
Well, I think it really all comes down to messaging. Look, if you look at what Republicans are focusing now in a national context, it's really on rising prices and inflation. And that's something Glenn Youngkin was talking quite a bit about during the campaign, saying he would cut the grocery tax in Virginia and work to lower those prices through lower taxes. Now, on the Democratic side, I think a lot of Democrats took a lesson from Terry McAuliffe and not to make this campaign about a former president who is not in office. But going forward, talking to Republicans and Democrats, they're both very cognizant of the fact that federal races in other states besides Virginia are going to be very different and that the issues could translate very differently. But right now, I think you're seeing Republicans like Glenn Youngkin focusing on the inflation, rising prices, especially after yesterday's inflation data. And then you're seeing Democrats really trying to figure out how to sell this bipartisan infrastructure plan that passed through Congress last week.
And let's talk a little bit about that. President Biden meeting with DNC Chairman Jamie Harrison, trying to sell this infrastructure package last week. So Biden is saying that this is a solution to the inflation issues. Meanwhile, Republicans are blaming the current administration for the rising inflation rates. So are they both right, or are they both grasping at straws here, trying to point the finger at each other?
Well, I think there's certainly a lot of finger pointing, but I think for Democrats, the inflation numbers come at a very inconvenient time. Look, this is arguably the biggest legislative achievement of the Biden administration to date, and they want to be celebrating the passage of this bipartisan plan. But instead, we're talking about inflation and the supply chain crisis. But, you're still seeing Democrats really try to hone in on that messaging. Look, I was on a number of calls with state Democratic parties yesterday, really looking to drive that message home locally. So I think they're trying to figure out a way to make sure this sticks and it works in a way and it's communicated in a way that's, understood by the average American who is not in Washington.
Yesterday's inflation report was really tough news for the Biden administration. Consumer prices rose 6.2% in the last year, the highest spike in 30 years. The president's going on the defense now. Of course, we've been talking about that. His speech recently in Baltimore, this is something that he is going to have to tackle, and it's this uphill battle. So what do you think the results are going to be in terms of getting his Build Back Better agenda passed as well?
Well, it's tough to tell. I think there's even more pushback to the Build Back Better agenda because that's obviously very expensive, and you see a lot more Republican opposition to that agenda. So that's going to be difficult. But especially, as you said, Adrienne, we're seeing these rising prices. And I think another point on the rising prices and inflation that the White House and Democrats are going to have to deal with is the fact that this is tangible. This is something Americans can feel. We're going into the holiday season when people are spending maybe more money than they normally do, and they're really going to feel this in their pocketbooks if they're not already. So, I think they're going to try to pass this Build Back Better agenda, sell it in a way that would make it seem like it combats inflation. But at the same time, you're seeing Democrats say, well, this wasteful spending, or Republicans, I should say, say this wasteful spending in Washington is only contributing to the problem of inflation.
And it's not just Republicans. Senator Manchin also calling out his own party for the excessive spending as well, continuing to do that. He's been doing it for a while now. Julia Manchester, thank you so much for your time. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.